Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm gonna work on some JavaScript, especially with the array methods. If you don't know what array methods are, it's a popular part of JavaScript. Things that you need to know. Actually, on top of your head, I realized this because I get stuck a lot from this. So that is what we're gonna focus on, and we're gonna see what the similarities and the differences are. So yeah, if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, like, a comment if you'd see me make 600 today in 7 years. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so we divided those ones. Let's actually make an Excel sheet. Okay, let's make put it in a table. Not the table I was looking for, but yeah, sure. No worries. Let's see how it looks. No, that doesn't look too nice. Okay, that's not good. And it's gone. That's very bad. I thought I opened a new tab. Oh, I did. New window. I'm happy I copied that, to be honest. Order them by ascending order in tab. Oh, frick. I'm getting so tired of that bullshit of this computer sometimes, really. I copied this. Let's copy it again. Let's go back. Let's go here. Return in table ascending order on tab. And it's what are you doing? Is it gonna be that kind of computer day? Okay, so what I'm missing here is that they separate um, um, create two tabs. One that okay, now it's getting too complicated in this way. And now I lost that chat. Oh my god, bro. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, I lost that entire chat. Can basically start over. Okay, let's start over. Okay, copied. Go to ChatGPT. Paste. Divide them if they modify or not. Divide both list again if they return a part or the whole. Right, that is useful. So we have certain categories here, right? We have the category mutates or non-mutate, right? Then we have part or a whole, right? For both of them, right? So this is the top one, part or whole. And then we have to say if it's int, bool, um, string, int, bool, string. I don't think they're returning more to be honest, but let's see. Int, bool, string, index. Mm, okay, so I see int, bool, string, match, other. So there's no string. That's interesting because it's a not toString method. Yeah, there's a gotcha here. So where did I put the string? Okay, there is a toString. Okay, okay. So there is a string. So integer, boolean, string, matching, or other. So let's see. Um, and then what I want to do is and let there also be a category of string. And that's not what I wanted. No. Um, okay, that's a bit annoying. Put string result in a separate um, subheading. So let's see. Index, return boolean, return index, return iteration. Okay, I don't know what undefined means. Returns undefined. This is not true at all. That's okay. Yo, bro, what are you building? Later on, we're gonna build this, bro. If you're interested to see that, we're gonna build this website. So if you're interested in that, then you have to stick around. But now we are categorizing JavaScript methods. So because we're gonna do some lead code grinding soon as well. So if you're interested in that, then this is what we are building on stream, by the way. So, all right, great. Um, so for each returns undefined, that is not necessarily true. Reduce and reduce right. I'm not sure what that means. So, all right, cool, man. I'm also doing some Node.js stuff for personal projects and job seeking. Oh, really? Um, what exactly are you building, and do you already have some projects running up, or um, why did the music not change? I did change the music. Give me a second. Mm, space ambient music. All right, better. Else it's too mysterious for some JavaScript. So an e-commerce website. I had some in Rails and React, but they crashed. So I'm switching to Mern Stack or Next.js. Well, Next.js stack is different than the merge stack. You are aware of this, right? They work differently. Because in Next.js you can decide how you do stuff, and Node.js is more defined. So, um, like I'm not a back-end engineer. I just know kind of the conceptual part of it. Okay, so let's go to for each. Where is it? For each. And it says it returns return value none undefined. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, you do full stack? No, I specifically do front end at the moment. Yeah. So, but I might transform to full stack later on, but it's not important right now for me. So we have mutated, non-mutated, part or whole array, and then we say into the Boolean string match other. Now let's see if we can categorize it a bit more. It's not this step. It is this step. Okay, so let's close this one and let's go here. So okay, so we need to know how many arguments and what arguments they are called. So let's try to ask some methods call either one, two, or three arguments. Arguments. Some are optional arguments. Um, Name these arguments if there are overlapping or similar arguments names. Give it a give it one name. If there is an optional argument, put an O before that. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. What is this? Oh, okay. It says where you use these ones. Okay. Subsubham. Yeah, we're back. We're trying to find a way to learn these methods fast. I'm trying to find similarities between ones. Next to practicing, right? The indexes are pretty easy. Hmm. Okay. I see that arguments most arguments start with a callback, but I want to specifically know what callback in that instance means. No, there are kinds of there are all kinds of developers here, from full stack to backend to AI developers to students. We don't judge. So I use self-taught developer. No, I have a bachelor's. But yeah, I have not never learned these methods before, and even though we are in the age of AI, I just notice that you need to know this stuff. So let me see. They talk about these callbacks stuff. I just want to specifically know what they mean with callback. A function to execute for each element in an array. It returns values discarded. Okay. I just want to see what they mean by this callback. I know what a callback function is, like, don't worry about it. That's not the problem. But Berkeley, are you self-taught developer or anything like that? Let me see. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure is that they say um, like method and then they have like this. This is what they mean in the callback function. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Okay, I think we can organize by callback. Um, I think um, organize by arguments in ascending order. Let's see. Mm, okay, so these ones are the most important. So I'm gonna say I wanna organize them by C, O, or value, or other. Okay? There's only one problem with this one, and that is that it forgot that to do this, right? To say non-mutating, okay, mutating, non-mutating. So it seems that no mutating. Okay, but don't forget our first dividing order, which was um, mutate or not mutate. That's very interesting. So all normal array methods that we use for linked lists, they are mutate methods. So that is something you should remember. And why should you remember this? Because that result specifically might get a better O.N time. But that is not always true if you only want one argument in return. So it really depends. If it's like you get only one integer, then the integer is faster. But if you specifically just want to do one stuff, then the methods that we use to on linked lists or on just arrays in other programming languages, then it's just a better way of doing. No, not entirely. Although I attended a bootcamp, I've learned much more after that because new talk works out that daily, so I gotta keep up. Can you tell me more about this bootcamp? I'm curious because we do have them here, but they do not appeal to me because um, even though they learn you the foundations, I heard they really focus on more on the homework rather than the whole concept as a whole, right? So what I mean by that is if you have like certain concepts that come together, right? So these concepts, now let's assume this is like an MVC, right? Like an MVC model view controller. They focus specific on these aspects as a homework, or these aspects in a homework, or these aspects as a homework separately, right? And even though they talk a little bit about the MVC protocol, it doesn't seem give you the awareness like, hey, this is just the concept as a whole. Is it true? I wonder. Okay, is there any with a callback that is not? No. Okay. Um, to splice is a very unique compared to splice because it returns an array. Okay. Okay. It's called Moringa School in Kenya, but there's like a parent partner of it called Flatiron School in the US. Okay. Let's see if ChatGPT figures this out. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to a new tab and I'm gonna say I don't see the list that I had. That's a bit weird because we did copy that multiple times, right? Come on. All right. Okay. Um, Order them by this standard. Okay. I let ChatGPT run. Okay, let's see if it can figure that out. I don't think so. I think ChatGPT is too stupid for this. Okay, mutate, no mutate. Okay, okay, it did what I said. That's pretty interesting. Okay, and now we're gonna try to let me see if the list is actually a little bit good or not. Okay, so copy within returns a whole is a mutatable array, returns another array, and the input you need a certain value. So the value could be an array or anything else. Okay, so let's do pop. So the pop mutates the array. A part of the array must match the element, right? And the input, no arguments. So pop just works like pop. Push. So push mutates the array. The whole array is mutated. So let me see. That's pretty interesting that these do not work the same. Then push is the only one that returns a whole array. Let's actually test that. Let's put it to the test. Yes, that's true. They care about the homework. As for the concept, you just grind to learn them. And that is the problem I think with boot camps. Because even though you understand to program and the homework doesn't mean you understand the concept. And you need both. And I think I hope you have teachers that do that, like, hey, this is the concept and this actually how they connect together, then things will get more simpler. But that's just my opinion, right? So, but let's put it to the test, right? Let's go to run JS. This is just a quick JavaScript compiler. And we're gonna make an array. Const array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's read again. It says that push mutates the whole array and the length, the returns an integer, new length, and the input is a value. Okay, so I'm gonna say array dot push, and I need a value 1. Okay, and it says is 6. So what does 6 mean? 6 means the return argument, so the total length of the argument in numbers. Okay, so I want to see what it does if I console.log array does. Okay, so it is right. But one thing that is not right in my defense is that it mutates the whole one. I'm not sure about this. Oh well. Okay, now we know. It's pretty useful to know this. If you try to remember it that way, right? Okay, let's put one more to the test. Unshift. So unshift, I forgot what it does, but if you push, I think unshift, you will remove either the last or the first part, and it also returns an integer. So if I say unshift and does it require a value? Yes, it does. So if I'm gonna unshift, then the 5 either is gonna disappear or the 1. So I'm curious what will happen. Unshift. Okay. Unshift is actually the opposite. It adds something in front of the array. Okay. That's pretty interesting. And then pop and shift do not have arguments and return the part of the array. Let's see if that's true. So no arguments, shift. Okay. Returns one value, which is a part of the array. So it all holds true. So we tested that. Okay. I think this list is pretty good. Now I wanna make keywords for this. Okay, so make abbreviation tab for each method. Example, abbreviation, and I'm gonna say mutate. Let me see. Mutate is M, and no mutate is N. Okay, then the next one that we had here is part or whole. Then first letter, then second letter. It's gonna be part is P, whole is W. Okay. The teachers were great and resourceful. Check it out to see if it interests you. Yeah, I'm way beyond the stage of boot camps, even though they're a good grind, and I really like the idea of boot camps. I think they are even better than degrees, in my opinion. But the problem is they treat it like school that I don't like. Not all of them, right? So, okay. How long did it take? How long it take you to complete React Buddy, Mr. LD? Um, could you be more descriptive about this? Because React is a framework. And what is your goal? Is your goal to make a website? Is your goal to create an environment? Is your goal to integrate it with a backend? there's a lot of stuff going on with React. So if you are more descriptive, then I can tell you how long it will take. Okay. Third letter. I is I. Bool is B. String is S. Match is M. Other is O. Okay. Then the fourth letter, that should be, I knew JavaScript before, wanna build my career as a front-end developer. Wanna know how much time it takes to complete React. Okay, I'm gonna give you a real example, but it might demotivate you. Just wanna be really fair with you, okay? You go to the job search and you go to vacancies, okay? It's reloading. And I'm gonna give you time. Don't worry about it. But I wanna be very clear on this. Okay, I'm gonna search React in my area. Let me see. How many years? 3 years. This is not a good maybe this one. This is a full stack development. It's asking that. It's a bit stupid. Let me see if I can find a good list. You don't need to know this. Okay, I think that this is a good one. Okay. So if you want to learn React, right? I'm gonna spend time because I have time for it. You have React. Well, the first thing that is really important is that you learn the three most important hooks, right? The three most important hooks is use state, use effect, and use ref. Now, next up, you can use context, but then we go to a different subject. So this is optional for now. Okay, this is optional. Now, if you know these three hooks, then what you're gonna do, you're gonna make a front end project. So that is your first project. This alone, and learning React basics like React basics and the hook with the front end projects. Maybe depending on how, like if you learn this fast, then maybe 20 hours. And this is with tutorial and project and so on that. This is pretty short. Now, but this does not mean you are a front-end React front-end developer, right? Because you need to learn more nowadays. If you are a front-end developer, you're also a mini back-end developer. Yes, it's very disappointing to hear that. Why? Especially in React, you need to know GraphQL, React Query, global state management, local storage, local storage, um, styling, converting, JavaScript methods, right? And etc. Well, I assume you know this. You know this, right? You know this. Okay. You need to know APIs and how to connect with databases. You also need to know routing, and you need to know index DBs, and you need to know cookies. And I think I forgot something. Let me see. Uh, Storage and cache. Storage and cache. Okay. Now this sounds like a lot, but each of them are separated. You can learn them separately. So that's not the big deal, right? So, and this is the demotivating part of being a front-end developer, because here this basically sounds like a mini backend developer. Yes, what the hell? But this is what the job market is asking. What you are saying is like old school front end development. Yeah, you will do UX, styling UI, API calling, and just CSS. Why would front end devs learn this shit? The reason why is because of React. That's the reason. These frameworks give these complexities. All these stuff that we just mentioned, most of them, aside from cookies and aside from local storage, the rest would, yeah, basically the backend would take care of this. Why would front end, yeah, why would front end? The Linux shit. So now, if you're still motivated, just let me know, because it doesn't take too much time to learn this. But yeah, you can become a React monster, and with this, you actually have more job opportunities. Okay, more job opportunities. Why? Because in junior, if you're gonna apply to junior roles, there are like 700. But if you're gonna apply to media roles, you have like 7,000 things you can apply. And I just showed you on top what a media developer knows. Now, aside from this one, you need to know a couple other things. Testing, yes, because a QA tester, companies don't have money for this usually. Companies don't have money for this. Money for this. You need to know Docker, and it's useful, not mandatory. It's useful. You need to know GitHub and preferably CI/CD. So if you know all this stuff, then you got to go. And this is front-end development. This is very demotivating, right? Don't worry, bro. I don't know all this stuff. I don't know local storage, and I don't know indexes DBs. I don't know caching, and I do not know CIDI, and I don't know testing. Okay. Companies don't hire as much juniors anymore, but this will get you to media level if you know this stuff. Okay, so how would you approach this? So I'm gonna give you that as well. So if you did learn these three hooks like React Basics, use state, use effect, use ref, then you learn the use context hook, then you don't need to learn hooks anymore, in my opinion. Now you need to learn a couple of other things. You need to learn React DOM. You need to learn React routing. So if you know these ones, then the next start is React Query. And React Query is also this one. These ones in total will cost you like 4 hours to know this. This is like 4 hours, right? 4 hours. Use context, maybe like 30 minutes. right? I'm gonna give you estimates. I'm currently working as a software developer at Finra. I knew Angular and Java. Well, if you know Angular, so if you know Angular, then you can say, okay, if you know Angular, stay with Angular. Why? Because Angular is defined, right? Angular has a lot of things. You can only do things a couple of ways, but not many ways. So then I would say stay with this. Don't learn this shit. Don't learn all this shit. So yeah, then I would immediately stop. Just learn Angular, stay with Angular, because these things you can learn them, but it's a waste of time. Anyways, you do a React query, then you're gonna learn the most difficult part of everything, which is called Redux or Sustan or Yotai, which is called Global State Management. Okay? You need to learn this. Now, what is global state management? It's basically because React does everything in a declarative way. Um, um, they want to decouple that in some kind of store, and they want you to grab it from there. Some come with a lot of boilerplates, some are more minimal, but learning one of these is very beneficial. This will cost you like 12 hours to fully grasp the concepts. Okay? Um, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Compared to React, right? I'm not saying Angular standalone. I'm comparing it to React. So now we did routing, we did React query, we did global state management. Now, I think the next most important stuff is actually doing GraphQL, because you're probably going to work at some kind of e-commerce or some kind of stuff that you want to know. You want to learn some GraphQL. I'm not sure, maybe 3-4 hours, right? It took a lot of time to learn Angular actually. Yeah. But now because you know Angular, even though this is a different way of doing stuff, you will get a lot of aha moments, right? So don't worry about that. So you learned this one. GraphQL will take you 3-4 hours. Now, if you learned all this stuff, you're gonna make new project. This new project is gonna take you 40 hours. Okay, just gonna be very honest. You can decide what the project is gonna be, whatever. Okay, then you're gonna learn the rest. You're gonna learn caching, cache, local cache, local storage. Then you're gonna learn index DB. And I assume you already know styling, so I'm not including that, right? I'm not gonna put this one, but I think the first and the best most thing after a new project is gonna learn cookies and routing, and like authentication and those kinds of stuff, right? Those kinds of stuff, cookies, sessions, and whatever, those kinds of stuff. Index DB. Then, then you're gonna learn this stuff, right? QA tester, like testing, right? I would say GitHub first, then testing, then Docker, then testing. I think testing is the least important here. Let me see. Uh, CI/CD pipelines, right? Pipelines. And this all maybe will cost you a lot, like 70 hours, I would think, in total, to fully grasp all of them. So yeah, it will cost you a lot of hours, but assuming that you know Angular, it will be very much easier. You probably know GitHub, you probably know Docker, maybe you did some testing before, maybe you did some cookie session and routing before, right? So that's gonna be easy. So depending on that, then it's gonna be like, I don't know, like 45 hours. So yeah, pretty much 100 hours. Then you know all this stuff. Then you can just go to media stuff. But then I would recommend you to make another project, like an expert project, right? And I will do it with a buddy that knows backend, right? And then you would create like a, it doesn't have to be complicated, but like a 30-hour project, okay? That's what you're gonna do. And like your buddy also spends 30 hours, right? So then you have a backend with full end, then you have a more advanced project with this stuff, and you have like a basic simple React project. So this is good. Now, where do you learn this stuff? Well, the best way to learn is all over the internet. But I would start with JS Mastery. JS Mastery on YouTube has a template called Brainwave. You can just type this into YouTube, and then the next step is you're gonna learn that stuff, right? And then you're gonna maybe make another JS Mastery project, and you can also take a template, but implement like GraphQL and like Redux or etc. So you make it a little bit more difficult for you. And the last one, I would go to ui8.category.freebies. You can type this into, let me actually show that. ui8.net.category.freebies, right? You go here, free categories, maybe. Okay, it doesn't want to work, but I know it. Freebies, freebies. Okay, let me look it up. Freebies UI8 category freebies. I think I typed this, to be honest. Then you're gonna go here, and you're gonna, for example, these are. Give me a second about Tailwind. These are full-fledged projects you can grab that you already have the UI, so you don't have to worry about the UI too much. And then you can start programming with your peer, right? You can make your own stuff. I'll show you. This one is made in Figma, right? It gives you all the stuff. It gives you the full-fledged project. So CSS variables, free Google fonts. It gives you basically everything. 2 core screens. Well, some of them have more screens, right? It depends on the thing you want to make. Or you can say, well, I will actually buy a theme here. That's also fine, right? Finance dashboard UI kit, right? There you get like 50 high quality desktop UI screens and responsive ones. You understand what's going on here? So you can define it yourself. I hope it helps, bro. That was a pretty defined explanation. So I'm gonna continue where I left off. So Tailwind, what is the one thing you suggest when we start to learn new coding language? Well, it depends on the goal. Are you doing it for fun or are you doing it for a job? For me personally, I think that's subjective. Um, do the one you're most comfortable with. I just gave you like a method to learn it. People think React is fun. I don't think React is fun, but I learned it already and I'm stuck with it basically. Okay, fourth letter. Yo man, I'm searching for these kinds of sites. Thank you so much. Yeah, bro. Appreciate it. No worries, bro. Got you. That's what this channel is for, right? So I give a lot of tips and times and like every stream I do this, right? So if you're interested in that, you know where to find me. All right, so let's get back into it. So you can watch the stream back if you want to see all this stuff, right? So um, callback optional. Okay. Um, Callback and an optional argument is c.o. Okay. Next one is value v. Value is v. Other is o. Other is o. No arguments. No arguments is an a. Okay, do we have something else after that? Okay, no, that is it. Well, I said that we had 4 letters, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 letter. Part, whole. Okay, so we skipped something. Or did we not? That's a bit annoying. Okay, Tailwind is a styling library or framework, and it's specifically for CSS. So back in the day, we would say display flex, or we would say padding top is gonna be 16 pixels, or align items, no, align text center. But instead of doing all this stuff in a separate file or like as in a blog defining that, we will just write this definition and it actually does it for us. So that is what Tailwind is. It's very modern and widely used, so it's very popular. Hope that makes sense, Subham. Okay. First letter, mutate, part or whole. Third letter is booleans. Fourth one is callback. Why do I have 5? Mutate, part or whole is the second letter. 1, 2, 3. Oh, because they are on the 5th line. Okay, I understand. Mutate, part, mutate, part, integer. What does usually do integer value? Mutate, part, integer value. Part. Okay, I gave it an example. Okay, so that's pretty useful. Uh, but the problem is that um, I under okay. add it as a new column in this table. Okay, so this one, non-mutable, returns a part of the array, is an other in other state, returns an other state, and has a value. What was it again? I said input is value. Okay. So let's see what the O stands for again. Not MIO, but in the O here. When I say return other. Okay, so it's optional. We don't know what it returns. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's try to understand abbreviation of push. So the push mutates the array, um, returns the whole array, has an integer as an input, and returns the value. So let's put that to the test. Right? Let's put that to the test. Okay, and that is push. Right? So let me see if I understand. Push. So push means it mutates the array. So push, it mutates the array, returns the whole array, takes in an integer, and returns a value. So this one should return a value. Okay, good. Totally fine. Can I just do return array here? No way. No, I need a function for that. Okay. Okay. Those are decent abbreviations. What I don't like is that it edited the scope. Is that, does that make sense? Okay. No, does it? Yeah, it does. Okay. So I'm not sure how it's I have to think about where I want to how I want to sort. Sort these tables ascending order in the column scope. I think that is the most logical sense. Okay, in the no mutate list, also sort in ascending order like this. Yeah, I need to learn some Streamlit. I'm not sure what Streamlit is, bro, but I'm gonna look it up. Streamlit. A faster way to build and share data apps is an open source framework that create your interactive web apps from your data scripts in minutes. What is this language? I'm not sure what this language is. It looks maybe Python or C, maybe C++. But if you learn Python, right, and you learn basic HTML, CSS, and Tailwind, I don't see why you should learn JavaScript here. Charts. I don't see where you should learn that. Where does it say JavaScript? Yeah, this yeah. I don't think you need JavaScript for this. Well, what is where's the JavaScript? Is there JavaScript? No, it's Python. 100% Python. You don't need to learn JavaScript for this. Make file, Python. Right? You don't need to learn JavaScript. What I do think you need to learn eventually, if you want to do those stuff, I think you need to learn web framework libraries, Python. List them. I think there are a couple of them. Django, WebSpy, TurboGears, Flask. I would probably go for Flask here because it's very lightweight and you can do dependable. But this one has a lot of template already ready. So it depends. What I should do, I just go on your job market and see what they mostly require and just learn that. So yeah, do that, right? Oh, Streamlit or JS. Oh, okay, sure. No, forget about JavaScript, bro. For now, no front-end experience required. It looks cool, bro. Yeah, bro. Awesome. I did not know this existed. Looks very cool. Thanks for letting me know. All right, let's go back to where we were. Okay, I'm happy with that. But then it fucks up this one. Okay, so I need to choose. So which one I'm gonna choose, right? What is more important? What you return, or if it does a part or the whole array? All right. Uh, okay. I think I like the list that it was before. I think it's very important if it returns the whole string or it doesn't. Mutatable. Okay, great. Now let me add a couple of more. Let me add array.length here. Um, I will give you a couple more of methods. Put them in where they belong. Okay. Okay, we already have a problem. No. I think we have a problem because now it shows me like 5 of them. Um, so that's not good. They should only be in this one in this order. Okay. So let's see if they added something. So there's an array.off. So let me see if I understand it from my perspective. Okay, it just says array on front of them. So it returns on the whole, it returns an array. You need to put in an array. Let me see. Is that correct? Okay, no. It returns an array. It needs a value. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay, let's test it. So yeah, it's not enough. No, I think that's enough. If you learn Flask or The other one, Django, it's enough. You need to know either or one. So I think that's good. It's good to know that stuff. All right. So let's see. We have an array. It returns the whole array. And let me see. It's non-mutatable. It returns the whole array. Um, what was the other one again? It says, yeah, it returns the whole array. The input is a value. Okay, so array of 2. And it says array of is not a function. Okay, that's very interesting. That's why they are not as in a method, they are as in static method. So let's see how that works. Full to bar. Oh, you can just say array of. Oh, you're making something. So you say array of, and then it becomes something. Array is not defined. Does array need to be defined then? Why? Here, it says array of, oh, capital letter? Is that a thing? Oh, very interesting. Okay, so I need to be, you can make an array of, but how would this be ever useful? Yeah, okay, I understand. Um, I'm gonna ask ChatGibberish for why would, uh, in what case would array of be useful? Let me see what this does. 3 empty items, but then you can say array dot push one argument, array dot interesting. So you cannot call a method on it. Interesting. Okay, dynamically create arrays. What if I want functional programming? Also, would it add 3 to 3 empty? Okay, you need to put it in a variable first. Okay. Um, can I add values to these three empty items? Because this is going to be more like pointers. It's not a string folder. These are holes, not undefined values, and this distinction matters. Okay. I don't need to remember that. It's undefined. There's no zero. Okay. Okay, you need to manually define this. Okay, const B is array tree, which is tree empty slot, dot map with an integer has no effect. Yeah, okay. Map doesn't work. Okay, you need to fill first. Or you need to, okay, sure. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so let's do something with the list that we had. So let me think about it. Let's make a hmm. Let's make an Excel sheet of this. I'm not sure if it can do this. Markdown, Excel, please. I'm not sure if it's gonna do it because I hit the limit. But yeah, okay, that was pretty interesting. And hopefully, okay, it did do it. I'm curious how it will look like. There's a lot of missing. Right? Where's the rest? Oh, mutate? No mutate. They made severed tabs. Okay, no worries. Awesome. Just doing a bit of separation. So this one is pretty unique because it actually gets in a callback, a method. So let's save it. Let's go to my map and actually change that. So let's go to downloads and like I can use a shortcut, but I don't care now. Okay. Try again. Save. Try again. Back up this document. This is just my document, bro. Just go to what is this map called? DTA. Just override it. So, and then let's retry that. Okay, so I don't get that error stuff anymore. Great. That was pretty complex. All right. We can do some programming, but I don't feel like it, to be honest. Nah, I think what we can do here, let's do a little bit of programming then. Just a little bit, like a couple of minutes. Even if we do one thing, we open up the wrong tab. Okay. So we did a couple of things yesterday, right? It looks pretty similar what you would expect. So npm run dev. Okay. Slow down, Tiger. Okay. Run dev. Let's open it. Localhost. Let's also do the framer fabrica framer media. All right. So we were pretty close already, right? We did change some things. One of the things that we changed is the consistency across the design, because this is a framer design, and framers designs you can drag whatever, right? And you can do that with web design, but you don't really want to do that. But yeah, we came pretty far, right? It doesn't look too bad, right? Very comparable. So let me see what we can do here. So there are two components, one with a picture and one not with a picture, and we have this stuff here. And then we have like a button. Let's see if the button is something that comes back. The sizing it does, but the dot itself, it comes back here, like I saw it here, right? But let's see the size of that. No, that size is a little bit bigger, or the same. It's the same. No, it's the same. Okay, let's see if it comes back anywhere else. Okay. Okay, second time, third time, four times, five times. Okay, so it's pretty obvious that it comes back more often. So let's create that button component. So do button tsx. Yeah, looks good. Thank you, bro. So we now have a button. Let's see the classes and such. So we're gonna go here, or we're gonna go actually use Peeper for this, and then let's go here. 190 by 30. Background is black. Font size is 12 pixels. Font regular weight. Letter spacing is normal. Um, Text color is not black, obviously, here, but okay. No worries. Okay, so let's start. 120 by 30. Okay. Should we actually create a div or should we actually create a button? No, let's do button. And let's create a class name where the width was, because I'm forgetful in the evening, 120 pixels by the height of 30 pixels, and the background is black. The text is white. Okay. Text is white. We don't have it on screen because I have not imported it on screen. So let's actually do that. Let's go to, let's just put it below the hero for now. Okay. What's the problem? Class name is missing. Oh yeah, because I made that mandatory. No worries. Okay, so we have a button here, right? And there's no white background on top of that. Wait a minute. That will create actually issues. Good that I see this. I should treat this hero. That's very interesting. Because what it does is that it sticks to the background as a component. So if I put multiple, like if I put another hero, let me do that. It won't go below it actually. It will get a part of it. So let's try that if that is true. So that is a fix that we need to work on. Yeah, so that is true actually. You see? So it takes in a part of the stuff immediately after the background. So we need to work on that issue later. So no worries. Let's put it then above the hero. And it has some rounding. It doesn't. Oh yeah, it says it's 12 by 11 padding. Is that true? Not really. Yeah, it's kind of true, but hmm, if that is true, then the things get smaller actually. That is what is annoying about Framer. So border radius is 50, so round that 50 pixels. I'm not sure if that is actually true. Oh, what am I doing here? I should not do that here. I should go to the button and then say rounded, which is border radius, right? You see it here. Border radius 50, 50 pixels. I think that's way too much over the top, but apparently not. Okay, it has a padding of px 12 pixels and py 9 pixels. Okay, px 12 pixels, py 9 pixels. Okay, so let's try to actually put something on a screen, and it said subscribe, subscribe. Okay, okay. A couple of problems here. So we want to do text 12 pixels. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that there's a certain text center maybe going on. Text center. Yeah, and we still have an issue with centering the text. Let's see why that is for a second. Because there's not enough space, and the text here does not look font weight regular, to be honest. But that's okay, that's fine. Okay, instead of that, let's try and then do a flex and then items center. Okay, that works. Let's actually do like a padding Y so it's more visible, like 3, so you guys can see here. And it seems like this text is just smaller. Let's be honest here. Let's see the zooming here. Maybe it's me. So the zooming is here is 100% and also 100%. And this one just seems to be bold, like semi, like bolder or anything like that. Font, medium. Okay. And to be honest, it looks like it's 10 pixels. Mm, no, like a little bit more, maybe even 11 pixels, to be honest. And it still look not medium, so let's go back again. Normal, medium, I'm not sure what mono is. Oh, it's yeah, okay. Extra light, sans, semi-bold, stretch. Okay, let's do semi-bold then. Okay, that looks way more close. Okay. But mine looks a little bit taller. Maybe because I don't have this rounding. So let's actually create that rounding and also expands when I hover over it. We're not gonna do the animations for now. Hi. Red the subscribe button because people live to see red. What do you mean, Movie Master? Can you explain? Um, so yeah, let's create this div as well. So let's create a div. But in that case, if you're gonna create a div, then it's better to put these ones here. Uh, is that the case though? Mm, no, that that is the case because we want to put this one here, and then we want to say, I think we want to say, right? We want to say justify between, and now we're gonna create that circle. So we're gonna do a width of 2 pixels, a height of 2 pixels. I'm not sure if it's 2 pixels, I'm just doing something, right? It might be 4, it might be 5, I don't know. Height 2 pixels, we're gonna do background white, and we're gonna do rounded full because we wanted to have a circle. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's way too small. Let's do 8 for each. So over exaggerate. Okay, that looks like 8, right? Okay. So we can actually make this optional, right? We can say um, like if it has an active class. So let's do active, and then you can say active. Um, if active is true, then put this on. Or we can make this optional. We can say active, this one, and then we can say null. Now, I did not say active here, and here it says it doesn't exist. Active is an optional. It's not a string. It's a boolean. Okay. And let's test it out. So let's make children of this one. So we're gonna create children. We're gonna say react dot react node. This is not the react node that I want to. Let me see. React node, this one. Okay, then we're gonna say children here. So children, which is a special prop in reactjs. And then we're gonna use the button on the page. So we're gonna say active, and here missing type active true, but required. Yeah, okay, because we have to button, right? Okay. And then we're gonna say subscribe. And then it should create a button. And if I don't do active, then it shows no button. Okay. But let's see if that actually does exist without button. I don't think so. No, it does not. So the optional was actually a flop. I don't need to do that, but we already implemented it. So let's do the active one then. Great. So we implemented the button, so we don't have to do that anymore. All right. That was pretty easy, right? What is the problem though, that if that is true, I want to have else what I also can do here. Um, so if I go here and I say which we don't have currently here right now, but let's actually do that then. Okay, we're gonna do this one. this one, and like backtick here, and also backtick here. And then we're gonna say here active, active. Well, then I want to have justify between. Else, I want to have justify center with this one. And then we can remove this one. Okay, that doesn't work as expected though. Because it does justify center. Hmm. Let me go to the page. And if I don't do active, what will happen? Okay. Okay, that is an issue. There's a bug because it doesn't recognize that anymore. Maybe because of the ordering of things. So let me put that in front of this one. And does that solve the issue? It does not. Okay, so this is a good question for root code, a new tab. So I'm gonna say button, and I'm gonna ask if I use the active prop in the class name button here, is the conditional correct? Let's assume I use button active. Does it do justify between? Okay, it says it does it. If I don't use the active prop. Interesting. Interesting. That is a bug that this AI did not catch. But let's check it out. It should have justify between, but the problem is the spacing, and I didn't catch that. Aha! The behavior was not correct, right? But okay. Awesome. So we created that button. We're not gonna create a hover state right now or anything like that, because we're gonna create like a store for these kinds of stuff. So yeah, that was it for this stream. Thank you so much, Movie Master, Subham, Mr. LD, Berkeley, and others. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you want to see me make a 600 today in 7 years. So yeah, that was pretty good, right? It was a consistent session. See you around, guys.